Okay, welcome back to the channel. I've finally got round to editing a video, or finishing editing a video. This one I actually played on the 22nd of January, so now 4 days ago now. And that was Chinese New Year, so hence the thumbnail. You've got the Chinese theme there, Year of the Rabbit, and lucky number 8, which is a lucky number in China. And I think the thing about this session, it was the kind of start of the upswing that I've shown you in the last video, where things have started to go well. Well, they've started to go well in $5 max. I'm pleased about that because we're starting now to add some money onto the bankroll. So it's giving us a little bit more freedom and flexibility rather than worrying about going bust. I mean, this was, if I recall, this wasn't a great session. I think we started off quite badly, but we ended up okay. I can't quite remember. So I've got one other video to edit, which was a day or two later, and I'll try to do that for tomorrow if I can. And then I think I said in the last video I will probably do a session where I'm just playing and I'm not really editing much, because it does take a bit of time, and I want to try and get as much uploaded just so that you can see as much as possible, really, and help me as much as possible. So let's get going. So, I mean, a lot of the hands speak for themselves. So we've got Queen here under the gun. I didn't elect to re-raise here. Sometimes I think if somebody's re-raising, especially at a 9max when you're under the gun, they probably got something quite strong. Queen is strong, obviously. I'll let to shove here. And so I played some really aggressive lines in this queen. But, you know, I tend to be a little bit more cautious sometimes, not all the time, depends on the player. I still don't really know a lot of these players, particularly if I'm, if I'm opening under a gun and I get a re-raise. My thinking is, if you're opening under the gun, you've got something strong anyway. And if somebody's re-raising you, then they've got to have something strong to do that. So that's my thinking. You can see I'm playing four tables here, and I'm just showing one table at a time, so I flip between the tables, and the only real information I've got on the players is the VPIP numbers there, which is it's the main. Sometimes I will switch on that, and I will put the VPIP and the big blind 100, and that's sometimes really just to see my own big blind 100 in game. But yeah, sometimes I have a look at other players' big blind 100, and over X number of hands, kind of gives me an idea whether they're a winning player or a losing player as well. So, so that's that. In 9max games, my strategy is I tend to really target the weak players as much as I can, and I'm being a little, well, I say the weak players, I was probably $2, $5, virtually everyone's a weak player, theoretically. We're all learning. We're not, what I mean by that is we're not, superstar pros, are we? So, we're theoretically we're all weakish. But, there are some players here, usually one or two in each table, where they're kind of really playing too many hands. They're just going crazy sometimes. And I try and target those as much as possible. So punishing all the limps here, re-raising, 3-betting the queen jack suited. Usually most of them, if not all of them, fold. So that's usually quite easy money. We've got 2 pairs here, but it's not where we end up with a boat. I'll bet into that. I've made sure my audio's on this time. What I do, my system, this is how I'll just explain how I do my videos, which kind of works better for me because I play the games and then I record the tables. So that means, I don't do it this way all the time, but generally, okay? So that means I can just play, and if I miss a hand, and I don't really have to worry too much about talking and synchronizing the talking with what I'm doing. I can just play, concentrate on playing, and then get as many hands in, record as many hands as possible. And so I do that, so I end up with a video, let's say 2 or 3 hours long, sometimes longer. Okay, and then I'll edit the video, I'll chop out, all the junk that's there. And so I'll produce an edited video. That can take another hour or so. And then I'll play the video, which I'm kind of doing now, and I'll do the audio over it. So I don't know how long this video is, about an hour or something. So this can take another hour. Okay, so generally, editing a video takes, let's say you play a 5-hour session, you can virtually, my system's probably the slowest and worst system out. It'd probably take me another 3 or 4 hours to edit the video. But what I've done the last couple of times, I've talked through the video. They were just the update videos, so it wasn't too long. 30 minutes, 10 minutes or something. And I did that. I recorded the video. But that time, actually, I was playing the audio whilst I was playing the video. So I didn't, that was okay. But both times my microphone was on mute, so I ended up with a silent video. Completely useless. So it was kind of wasted an hour or so. But now I've got my audio on. I think my audio is starting to sound good now. I'm worried about this because if you listen to some of my earlier videos, I might delete some of them. The audio is terrible. I just couldn't work it out. It took me a while to get the settings and everything. And I've got a nice microphone now, and I bumped into a friend a while back, and he does YouTube videos, very good YouTube blog. And he used to be a radio DJ or radio announcer, or do the voiceover for adverts, or something like that. He's got a great voice and he's got a great sounding audio. And I was talking to him, I said, I need to get a boom arm or something, because, and it's kind of arm that you put your microphone on, because I had my microphone resting on my table on a stand, and I just felt it was vibrating a little bit, and it's just really surprising how much noise comes from around you when, even though you've got these kind of pro microphones, and okay, I've just spent all this money on a microphone, I'll plug it in, and it will sound great. And yeah, you know, it does, but you have to do a lot more. You have to get the settings right, try to synchronize it with your voice, and then you know you need you need additional equipment to actually make it sound better. You need to know what you're doing to make to be great. I had no idea. I've never used a well. I used to play in bands when I was younger, but somebody else used to do all that. I have no idea. I just used to you know play my guitar through it or something. But I've never actually done any technical audio work, so I just didn't have any idea. So I said to my friend, I need a boom arm, this kind of arm to put your microphone on to have a little bit more flexibility with my microphone and get it sounding better. And he goes, oh, I've got one for you. He said, I bought one and I don't use it. I said, wow. He said, well, yeah, you can have it for like, it's 50, 60 quid or something like this. And I was out on a night out with some friends then, and my friend, he owns a bar now. I mean, I don't drink, but I'd sometimes pop in and say hello. It's from a similar area where I'm from. And from near where I was born. So, but, I eventually got around to buying it the other night, and I think he gave it me for $30, $40. I had no idea how much these things was, and I have to say that it's great. And I looked up online how much this thing actually is, and it's about $150. It's new. It's in the box, So I really got to go back and buy my friend a drink because it's amazing, and I was very generous of him to give me pretty much a new product for 20% of the price. So I will pop back and say thank you for that. It's just a really big thing. I mean, I'm not talking about many of the hands at the moment because the hands speak for themselves, don't they, a little bit. If you do have any questions about any of them, let me know. I will come back and have a look at a couple of the hands. I mean, in a lot of these hands, I'm taking fairly aggressive lines, and I'm trying to. My strategy is c-bet my range as much as possible and take aggressive lines again. I mean, this one, the 9-9s are really, that player with the blue means a bit bluffy. So, I'm not giving up easily against these type of players, and I'm prepared actually sometimes to lose a stack or two. What I find is if I'm aggressive against these players, they're very often holding relatively marginal hands, if anything. And I think I'm just sometimes prepared to lose a stack or two. It's usually profitable to do so. Not necessarily getting into a leveling war. I'm not going to be entirely stupid. I mean, for example, 9-9 and that last time, we didn't exactly have nothing. It was a marginal holding. But, and a bit loose here. So we've got two pairs. Tricky board, straight on the board. By no means got the best hand. I really put big bet. I usually put big bets in with hands like this because it just asks the question. If you have something, they're going to go for it. If they don't have something, they're going to fold. I'm generally quite happy with a board like that to get a fold, to take it down, rather than let it run out into problems. Okay. Here, a very aggressive line with the ace-king. We got a 43v pip, a small re-raise from the 34, a call from a player I don't really know, I don't think. 5-6, well, ace-king, we got a hand. I didn't really smell any pairs there, like, queen, jack, king, ace. Now we have ace. The thing is I like about being aggressive with ace king like that. I'm not like that all the time. I think you'll see a hand coming up soon where I take a little bit of a different route to it. It means that I can continue the aggression on hands like this, and people probably, you know, I've got a nuttish hand here, and people, it's a bit of an unfortunate river, but people probably will call me thinking, he's just messing about, he's on tilt or something, you know, and then I wake up with, you know, the holiday says like I have here. So I really like that situation where, you know, again, we take that down. So, you know, that's sometimes a good thing about being I find about being over aggressive in some situations, and you can continue that aggression. People begin to, you know, they begin to get suspicious. So, you know, you can't have everything all the time. I think I was playing a hand. Just I ended up profitable yesterday. I'm profitable every day at the moment. It's great. But I don't think I recorded it. There was one table, one player. He played 100% of his hands for about 2 hours, 3 hours. Cash game. And I played about six. I think I lost 2 stacks against him. When he came onto the table, I had no history with him or her, and he played every hand. He never folded anything, and I think he left with about 600 big blinds. Just everything he had. I think with me, I had something like ace against him or her. So I went all in. There was 10 high board. He called. He had 10-7, river to 7. You know, the next one he had jack 7. There was 7 on the board. I went all in with something. And then he got jack. You know, just it was like that. It's not only with me, it's like with other players. It's crazy. It's just like, to be honest, it just looked dodgy. But, you know, I can't complain because, you know, as you see in my last video, I'm 16.6 big blinds 100, you know. And I'm pretty sure I've had time. I know, you know, this is this negative biasing. I mean, I remember that session from yesterday. It was okay. I lost a couple of buy-ins or whatever. It happens. But you know, I've had sessions where I've had a lot of luck. You know, I'm not kind of shoving 10-7 off, but you know, I've had my fair share of rivers. Got to have had with the 16.5 big blinds, 16.68 big blinds, 100 profit. So you know, just looking at the long term, I'd sort of focus on really now. call with the 5-4 suited here. Obviously, he's got a lot of chips to play for. I would have folded if he just had a normal amount of chips. Return a 5. Aggressive line now. Looking back on this now. But Ace King is our range. We have got more Ace Kings. Could have kept going, really. Oh, what we've done. I really have been doing a lot of work on playing my range more aggressively, continuing with my range more aggressively. And you know, like in this spot here, don't necessarily have the best hand, but we've got a lot going on, and just being really aggressive and saying, okay, I'm prepared to lose a stack. Are you? I think I found that to be. I haven't done any kind of scientific analysis of it, but I found that to be. It feels like that's a more profitable approach. I mean, yes, we had the ace here there, but we could have, you know, we could have already been behind to a flush, a straight, a better ace. Lots of things could have been calling that. And so I am inclined these days to be more aggressive than I was, I think. In those kind of situations. I mean, ace jack off is a relatively tight fold, but it's multi-way. We've got nothing on the board there. If we do turn an ace or whatever, but we are, you know, we could still be behind, you know. We by no means have the best hand, so I've got no problem. I don't mind folding. Heads up, probably different. Ace 10 suited with flop top pair. I'm not folding. We get the draw. I'm assuming I'm shoving. Yeah, I do. Yes. We get called. We get lost. So there's an example. It's aggressive. You know, we'll probably beat a lot of the times as we were, but long term, these tables, I'm sensing that's a profitable move. Tell me if I'm wrong. Again, going for it. Ace, not flush draw, overcard. Yeah, so I'm taking some really aggressive lines here. Oops, hang my microphone now. And I think by taking some aggressive lines, I think your villains, I get a sense that some of the villains I play against they're a little bit passive. They're not playing a very aggressively at all, and they have in their mind, I think, if they play a hand against me, they're going to be playing for stacks more often than not. And so, you know, so I think taking that aggressive line does have an impact, a psychological impact. It worries them a bit more. I think I might be talking out my backside, but it makes me feel more confident. And I think if I feel more confident, I'm more likely to produce my A game, which is still not a very good game, but it's my A game. Probably most other people's D game, you know, but it's like, for example, I mean, I played Zoom, was it this morning, yesterday morning, went okay. And I'm happy, I was happy with it. We won a couple of stacks, just $2 Zoom. But, you know, during this challenge, when I played Zoom overall, I've not felt confident because I've just been losing. And for whatever reason, okay, but the confidence is an issue, isn't it? If you start the, I've sort of been starting some Zoom sessions. I haven't played many recently, but you know, starting, I'm thinking, oh, how much am I going to lose now? You know, I hope I don't lose. You know, kind of have a winning. It's all these kind. It's not psychologically, it's not the place to be. You know. And I've done a lot of off-table study to work on that, not only the kind of mental game, if you like, but also, you know, just to make sure that, you know, my ranges are fine, my C-bets frequencies are kind of fine, my bluffing frequencies are fine, and all of them are not fine, but, you know, I'm working on it, and I think that helps me to feel more confident, you know, and then, even if I do, for example, have a losing session, and I played well, I'm okay. I think with Zoom recently, I've had some losing sessions and I've not played well, and I've just felt, oh, I've made mistakes. I'm tilting. You know, all these types of things. So I don't mind so much if I think, you know, I've made the correct moves. It just the cards didn't go for me this session, but that's not how it's been. I don't think. Yes, you know what tends to happen. I sort of play cards don't go for me, and I fall apart. You know, or I kind of leave, I quit, whatever my tilt is. There's lots of different forms of tilt, isn't it? One is just kind of overplaying your hands, and what are my forms of tilt? I'll probably do a video on that, isn't what for me? Because sometimes I think it's good to ask yourself that question: what are your tilts? You know, recognizing what they are. For me, I think it's let's have a look at my 3 biggest tilts. That might be a good video and give some examples. One tilt is kind of leaving if I'm losing, and that may not necessarily be such a bad thing. Sometimes, you know, the cards are not going for you. You can walk away, and I think that's perfectly okay. But at the same time, you know, if you're making the correct moves, you know, sticking with it, and you know, making sure that you know, you're not angry or you're not frustrated, or that you're kind of responding positively to it and constructively to it and carrying on. So that's one tilt for mine is leaving when I probably should stick around a bit longer sometimes. Another tilt is overplaying my hands. So, you know, calling too much, re-raising, just sort of ignoring my ranges, ignoring what I'd usually do, and pushing it a little bit. So that's another tilt. Sometimes another tilt is, I don't do it so much now, but I used to. Let's say I lost 2, 3, 4, 5 buys at one level. I'd jump up a level for a few hours to try and get it back. It's complete. I did that. That used to kind of work okay sometimes. Okay, but I had a couple of sessions where it didn't go okay at one level. Okay, jumped up a level 2 and it didn't go okay there either. So, slap. I learnt my lesson. Don't do that. So they are. I mean, I have many more tilts, and I think it's just recognizing them now. Now I think I can say over the last 3 or 4 days where I've played these 9 mats games, my tilt has not really been there. Okay. Why? Because I feel confident is one thing. I'm winning. Okay, that helps. But I'm also the long term is what matters. So it doesn't really matter what happens over this hour. It doesn't really matter what happens today. Yeah, it could be upsetting, it could be disappointing, but it doesn't matter. I think now if I look at my long term graph, it's heading up towards $400. And if I lose $10 today, it doesn't matter. So I'm plus $400 so far. That tells me it's okay. I think even last week I was like, if I'd lost $10, I'll be like, I can't get away from zero. Because I couldn't, I'm not saying I'm there yet. I'm not there yet, but you know what I mean. It's just when I've got a bit of fresh air between zero and when I'm in profit, that helps. So yeah, like yesterday when I had that player who I was just talking about, spinning everything, didn't bother me. Yeah, it was kind of, I lost 2 stats against him or something. But still, at the end of the day, I was profitable on cash games plus 8 or 9 buy-ins. So yeah, rather than being plus 10, 11 buy-ins, 12 buy-ins, I was plus 8 or 9 buy-ins. Okay, And over the week, I'm plus, 30 buy-ins so far. So rather than being plus 32 buy-ins, I'm plus 30 buy-ins. It doesn't matter. It's a small. So I am at the moment. I'm back into seeing those kind of bad beats as a small percentage of issues. Most of the time against those sort of players are going to be taking their money. So I kind of have to sort of say, it's almost like I say, okay, you take it for now. I'm lending you these chips. I'll just get it back later. I don't even think that really, but it's like I can't win every hand. So I mean, when you think about it as well, with that 10-7 hand, he still had about 30% chance, 28% chance of winning the hand, getting the river. Well, there's miles behind, but he's still got 30% chance. So he's going to on long term, he's going to get that river 30% of the time. So you have to expect that. Even when someone gets their one outer, they've still got like 6%, 7% chance. So long term, you're gonna get it sometimes. It feels sometimes that it happens more than what it should. Particularly with me for tournaments. I played a few tournaments on GG yesterday. I won a little bit on 1 or 2 tournaments. Got into the money, I think. I won a couple of bounties. But most of my big hands, I think there was 3 or 4 tournaments. There weren't expensive tournaments. $1, $2, $3, you know, just messing about. But most of my big hands were, you know, I'm all in. I'm either in the money or out the money. It's that kind of situation. I got rivered all the time, you know. But then, you know, sometimes you get that in tournaments. Every tournament I get rivered. But the reality for me is I don't play that many tournaments compared to some people. You know, this throughout this bankroll challenge, I must have played about 30 tournaments in 3 months. So, you know, 2 tournaments a week. I let's say I've got rivered in critical situations in 10 of those. Okay. If I extrapolate that over a year, I mean, if that was over a year and I was playing like 100 tournaments a day and I was getting rivered in 30 of them a day, and over a year that stretched out to be the case, and clearly I'd have issues, you know. It's very difficult for me to say with the volume, oh, I'll get rivered on every tournament, which I feel like I'm doing at the moment, but I've only played a few of them, you know. I know. I write to GG, I'll get rivered in all your tournaments, and they'll probably write back, we've only played 10. What to expect? Get on with it, you know, stop moaning. So, yeah. What I've enjoyed about these $5 games, I think if you're patient and you play aggressive lines and you're patient with them, sometimes I found in a couple of sessions, you know, I've been playing 4 tables, and after now I've got nothing, an hour and a half, nothing, 100 big blinds, all tables, I'm down a bit, you know. Just an hour, that's about 400 hands, you know, 600 hands, nothing, minus $1. But I think this, if I play a full day, I'm going to be playing I've been playing about 3,000 hands a day, a bit less. But let's say I played a full day, 4,000 hands a day, you know. Just have to be patient, because I know, let's say over 3, 4, 5 days, I'll play 15, 20,000 hands or whatever. Okay, I'm confident I'm going to be in profit there. So when I do get periods where, you know, it's 1, 2 hours and nothing happening, just sitting back, just waiting, and not pushing, you know, not thinking, okay, I wanna. And then what I find is a few times is that I'm suddenly ahead. You know, I kind of not really think I'm just playing the hands. I'm just doing what I do, and then I have a look at my big blinds for 100 to see where things are, and suddenly I've got, you know, 250 on every table. I'm like, oh, how did that happen? You know, and I think it was just not thinking about it too much like that, just sort of playing in the hands that's in front of you. Obviously, I'm looking at the stack sizes at the time I'm playing the hands, But you know, I'm not constantly thinking, oh, I've got to start making a profit now. I should be ahead. Should be, I should have doubled up by now. I just don't do that. So how long there is to go here? 4 or 5 minutes. I haven't talked about many of the hands. Leave a comment if you have any questions about them. I think most of them are fairly obvious. I think I made a lot. You know, you can probably see, like I've said, I think I've taken some aggressive lines in some places and I've paid for that. But my strategy is it tends to be more profitable to be betting and calling sometimes against some players than it is to be checking and folding generally. You know, here what we're doing here, we're continue going and what he had. 64 players with 65 VPIP. There are some players 65 VPIPs. They call your C bets with anything. They call your turn bets with anything. There are some that play a lot of hands and then they're checking if they've got nothing. They kind of, they may open a lot of hands, but they're only continuing when they've really got something. So it's good to know those as well. I mean, the yellow and the green ones, a lot of the time, they tend to play pretty much ABC poker. Blue ones tend to be a bit bluffy, a bit crazy sometimes. I don't really make too much distinction between all the different player types. I mean, generally speaking, the colours are related to the VPIPs. And then try to make a little note of their behaviours. If the blue ones, they can be bluffy, i.e. they do some sort of crazy things, but they're also, I know, where they're prepared to bluff, and their bluffs may be really correct. At least they're prepared to bluff. The other players, like the yellow ones, are less likely to bluff, less likely to call a marginal hand, and so on. So you can sometimes bluff them off. Spots. Again, I'm only just talking generally. Doesn't mean to say like every hand this is what will happen. For example, if a yellow label number, with a VPIP of 11 opens under a gun and it's going really aggressive, they've generally got ace ace or king king. So your 10 is usually dead against them. But 65 VPIP player opens under the gun. Your 10 is probably quite good. They may, they probably got ace 3 off, and they're just really hoping that an ace comes. If there's not one there. might be the last hand, I think. Unlucky now. No, one more. Well, thank you for watching anyway. I really appreciate the input. Sorry I've not uploaded a poker video for a few days. I think I've explained that already. I will now try to do more. I am going to do some other types of videos, so some for my friends, but you know, where I live, they want sort of the names of every playing card in English. You know, so I live in a non-English speaking country, and so you know, this is a blog, and I'm maybe produce a couple of videos like that and upload to YouTube and forward to them, and so that, you know, hope that helps, sort of thing. So fairly relaxed, but it may help other people as well. I know that, you know, not everybody everywhere in the world knows the names of the playing cards in English. So okay, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you again soon.